Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 3, The Shadows of Change, where we have today an important decision to make regarding Mother Estancia. We kind of have to pick a direction here. We could be the scourge of the North, just run around here blowing up Norskins until there are no more Norskins to blow up. And that certainly would provide some solid defense for Lorelorn. Obviously, we're working on getting Lorelorn better defended anyway, but the fact is, there's no set of stationary defenses that is going to cover for two enemy armies rolling up and just burning the place down. Now, the plan could involve using Jinx's land to pull a defensive army back to Lorelorn should we need it. The most obvious problem with that is that, like, once we're actually making a push south here, once we start taking, like, the Fallen Gates and stuff, the only way to use that spell to get back is to teleport to the Witchwood, which is pretty fucking far from the front lines. And I don't really feel like it's a good idea to have a fourth army just yet. However, I do think it's a good idea to send someone toward Erengrad. Erengrad's worth a lot of money, and right now it's very up for grabs. You know, you could see, what is this, Ostland? Ostland is headed in that direction. The Empire's headed in that direction. Obviously, the demons are fighting over it. There's Norskins just north. Like, it's something everybody wants a piece of. And Kislev as a whole, as like a, you know, as a patch of ground, is very fucked up. We could come over here and really really reset this place, and there are a lot of locations in this area that have a number of fairly powerful landmarks that we could pick up. Like, global recruitment duration down by 1 turn for all units is very significant. So yeah, I'm definitely thinking that maybe we want to try to get a hold of this stuff in Kislev, the city. Upkeep down for Ice Guard units in all armies. Income up for buildings in this province. There's a lot of money to be made out here for sure. Plus, lots of people to fight. You know, just kind of like endless enemies. I would still really like to find some beastmen. The problem with beastmen is that they don't really have, like, an area they live in. You know, they're mobile herds, so they're just going to kind of show up whenever they're going to show up. I think there's a beastman legendary lord that starts around here. We saw that in our last game, but I don't know if we are in position to really take advantage of that. Coming over here would let us fight orcs too. Orcs are also red, aren't they? Oh no, sorry, orcs are blue. That's right. One of these is, yeah, orc molars, because blue is teeth. So the reds are chaos dwarves, beastmen, and lizardmen. That's tough. Chaos dwarves are gonna be tough to come by. All right, well, maybe for the moment, the plan is to run Mother Estancia to the east. We'll try to put together a fourth army and teleport them to Lorelorn, perhaps? We could grab somebody to devour real quick, because she can make it back to Lorelorn, right? No, not quite. Well, I want to head back through Lorelorn anyway to get the replenishment, so maybe what we do is,
the land calls to me there.
let's send you back home. Yeah, I'll take the replenishment just to keep spending spirit essence, really, so that we have so that we are making progress on our next hex. Let's grab this army. Sorry, let me make sure I put in Lorelorn first, then grab you. Okay.
No.
We'll see what they make of that. I could have waited a turn, but I really wanted to get the cooldown started again. Yeah, and that's Mother Estancia. We have a training decision to make for our new Ice Witch. Having served the court for decades, it is time the Ice Witch dedicated herself to one of the disciplines practiced within Winter's Halls. Choose Storm or Snow. I don't actually know... I don't know what spells are available. So the freezing... The Lore of Tempest has passive whenever you cast, all your enemies lose speed for 12 seconds. And it's a pretty good chunk of speed. A ranged accuracy boosting, range and accuracy boosting spell. That seems pretty powerful. Bombardment, hailstorm kind of thing. Big speed and charge boost bonus, or big speed and charge bonus boost for a while. Biting wind, which is it's a wind spell that just sweeps through and does a bunch of damage. Yeah, nothing terribly interesting about it. This is interesting. A vortex that leaves behind a minus 16 leadership debuff. It seems like the damage is pretty bad. 6 damage, none of which is armor piercing per second over 20 seconds. It's mostly about that big debuff. And then Blizzard, which is a different vortex, all of which is armor piercing, and it leaves people with the frostbite. I don't know. Honestly, Lore of Tempest is not amazing, in my opinion. The Frost Shield gives armor and missile block chance to all your troops every time you cast. Big speed and charge speed debuff for enemies. This is like a breath attack that gives frostbite. Ooh, 25% damage up, 24 melee attack up. That's interesting. One thing that's a little bit of a bummer about browsing spells in this way is that you can't see what the overcast does for them. And so some of these may be getting a lot better. So this is a damage spell that's intended to be used on a single character, the Death Frost. The Crystal Sanctuary removes movement from a unit but gives them 80% damage resist. I could definitely see situations where you just drop that on some ice guard that are in the middle of an enemy unit. And then Heart of Winter, an area damage spell with ramping up effect. Interesting. I think I would prefer this. This seems more interesting to me. Let us make her an Ice Witch. Okay, Sergei is just trying to get back to our side of the line, really.
For Mother Kislev.
We did it! Replenishment enabled. You know, let me go all the way back to Sildrator. I could use the friendly regen replenishment bonus.
Boya.
Vasily here will... Oh, hell yeah. Let's fight a tiny group of pirates for a large amount of treasure.
What care I for?
2,400 plus 8,000. Yeah, that'll do.
No higher authority.
It is so useful to have access to a shoreline. Just the amount of money you can make. So we're getting spell stuff for you because you are the magic user. Although I guess
Baron of the Mother.
you don't have to be a magic user. We're gonna make use of her her actual ranged combat abilities as well in this army.
Witch.
So Natalia is going to be providing valuable intelligence in this area as what's her name approaches. Let's just try to get an eye on exactly how many enemy armies there are around here. Which player is this? This is just the General Legion of Chaos. Okay. It's a contentious area, that's certainly the case. Hag Hall should definitely take these upgrades. And then what else do we want to build in Hag Hall? I don't know that it matters terribly. Let's just get the other money-making structures Like, when I say it doesn't matter, I mean, I don't think Hag Hall is going to come under attack or anything. Although, you know, the exiles certainly have some feelings about the way we've handled ourselves lately. Okay, I want to make sure I had enough money for that. They're trending toward -40. That broken treaty's harsh.
Let me explain your doom, for I have foreseen it.
If they decide to turn on us, teleporting an army to the Witchwood will definitely be valuable. And maybe we should like save up some money to give as a gift. That might calm things down a little bit. Also, let's be producing some more of these. So,
Sympathy, my magic has.
go ahead and just tack that on there.
Sapping strength.
We sure
and
do love that one. And then,
Languor takes you to your rest.
what is this? Okay, that is the warpstone fragment. So, Rat's Grit is actually really interesting. Once we have a red, that is definitely something that I wanna build some of. Oh, I used the right. Okay, well, we'll worry about that later. What do I want to tack on to this? Speed, Strider, Devastating Flanker. Probably charge bonus up would be good.
Brilliant.
And then, like, also, since we have ammunition up is probably not it's probably not so relevant. Yeah, kind of none of these effects are super meaningful, huh? All right, it's fine. We'll just create that.
Let Kislev carry your burden.
And
Past the
then
brush, and suddenly, you are where you cannot be.
so we could do the Wraith Sight thing. We have white, purple, and blue available. This purple blue thing requires Brindaraz, which we do not have. Oh, we can make some more Spectres Miasma. It's weird, though, to give... Yeah, this is like a close range damage effect. It's weird to give it with an ammunition bonus. This makes a little bit more sense. Although, again, we don't really have a blue item that goes particularly well with plus ammunition, plus sight range. Ah, whatever. I'm not going to worry about it. We're getting to the point where these stat bonuses are maybe a little bit less, noticeable against the scale of the other stuff that we have going on. So I wasn't building defenses in a lot of these places. I think we're going to have to consider defenses in more spots until they get over the thing that happened. I thought we were one big happy. Oh, Vesely, you still have movement.
Is assured.
You should, like, absolutely get over here.
Endless vigor.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Sail out.
Get up at the port. Okay. So once these two are together, we are just going to sweep south. Are you at war with Hexawaddle? You are not. You have no particular feelings with Hexawaddle. Okay. That's a shame. That would have been a good way to make friends again.
You are but a
All right. So Throth over here has a bloodletting gauge. So I guess that's a Cornate force. I would have guessed that they were Chaos Undivided, but maybe they are Chaos Undivided and just different lords have the mechanics of different gods or something. You know, honestly, we probably don't have to worry too much about the Exiles of Nehek coming after us, because I think Avalorn's just going to completely kick their heads in. Avalorn is so powerful. And I will say, I think that the Khemri get a little bit of a raw deal from the auto resolver. Are you canceling my trade? Oh, canceling military access. Well, that's not great either, but canceling the trade deal obviously would have hurt me more. So you get into a little bit of a negative feedback loop here, where because of their frowny face feelings, they are canceling minor treaties with you, and then the loss of those treaties forces your relationship value even lower, because there's that positive relationship treaty value thing, and so that gets them canceling more stuff, and then that happens a couple of times, and then all of a sudden you're at war. I do not have time for another front. I have all the fronts I can handle, thank you. Probably slightly more fronts than I can handle. We haven't fought any normal vampires, right? Any vampire counts armies. If we end up dealing with them, we'll get some more trinkets. We should have a look at this Legion of the Gore Queen and see what their deal is, because, like, it's easy for me to believe that Avalorn will sweep them out of that area immediately, but I don't know how much land they have on other land masses. Like, they're from the north, right? They're from the Dark Elf continent. Oh, the scalings are really weak right now. You know what? I don't think I even need to chase those guys. I think they're running into the heart of the Empire. That's how they're gonna die. Oh, I have to make another training decision. Betterment is a tenet of those that serve the Ice Court. Even one as accomplished as a witch is expected to continue and improve. Which area should she focus on next? I mean, Perfect Vigor is awfully good. Vanguard deployment doesn't seem that valuable for a witch, unless her combat stats are way better than I'm expecting. And if that's the case, then I think I want Perfect Vigor anyway.
The right to rule.
Okay, so we're about ready to do this thing.
Prepare for shock assault. Boyar of Kislev.
Maybe this is the wrong way to think about this.
Advance for
Maybe
Kislev.
you go into
Order
ambush
their
mode.
death. Take me there.
Get in the trees. Hide as best you can.
Higher authority.
You guys
Will be no sleep.
march to Sildrator. Get the full replenishment.
Motherland.
Hopefully the lizards don't see two armies on their borders, and so they don't react super hard.
I make the
Although notice their legendary lord is back home in Hexawatl. The stellar pyramids of the southern skies. Yeah, that seems pretty alright. I could use a research rate boost. We have a lot of very expensive research.
Hag, at your peril.
So I can't quite chase Gerald Foe Seeker. That's alright, he's seeking foes. Where he's headed, he's gonna fucking find him. So nothing else adds to the garrison right now. We can get a patriarch for the garrison if we build one of these. I'm just trying to make sure that this is as defensible as possible. Do these buildings add to the garrison at all? Seems like no. All right, well, we can build the patriarch building in the forest. That'll help a little bit.
Gullible fool.
Yeah, and then I think we just head east. I might want to head, maybe we take the path our hero took, because this would allow me to burn Norden. Yeah, I think I like that.
The left must drive us on.
All right,
By
and we will continue to heal as long as we stay in allied territory, although obviously it won't be as good.
Hidden Guardian.
We are sadly too low on money for Natalia to really
Forward.
be able to do very much here. I definitely want to scout some of these ruins and see how many of them are actually Skaven settlements. But that might be a thing we have to wait until next turn for. And then Coven's Curse Mark doesn't really do anything. We could fire a purification chant somewhere if we actually have any corruption anywhere. Maybe it's not worth worrying about. Okay, so We have a whole bunch of copies of most of our meaningful stuff here. Do I want them to get the physical resist over this other stuff? I mean, the flaming attacks might be
A pinch of this,
worth something.
of that.
And then, honestly, I think we should probably be using the Urson Totem. And then, yeah, there's the question of, like, what else do you put on archers? And the answer is we don't have anything. That stuff would be okay. I wouldn't hate the Gorehorn or the Horned One trophy as additions to this. But yeah, I'm comfortable just building it like that.
The dark things in the woods.
That seems perfectly fine. This thing with the Unburdened Step. Yeah, I like the Vanguard deployment with the Unburdened Step a little bit better.
These sparks.
And charge bonus and physical resistance. Like, that's actually a very powerful blessing, I think. And this is not how we had been building it, but this is how we probably should be building that.
Occupation. Curses. Hexes. Why need I these when the fools do so
Okay,
much?
do we have... All three of our armies have moved. I'm definitely not in position to be building more armies just yet. What is the upkeep cost on Vasily's army?
Decision is law.
Like 5,600. Okay. And keep in mind, each army, each new lord we hire in does raise our overall upkeep costs. Every new army makes all of our armies more expensive.
No man for
So we are not close to being able to put together stack 4 yet. So we'll see if leaving Lorelorn Forest alone was a foolish move. But honestly, I don't even need it. I mostly took it as a way of doing damage to those Norskins. Yeah. And making life a little bit easier for the Empire, of course. So other factions of your same sort of like troop group can be confederated. We've seen the AI do this a couple of times. And they could just be completely consumed into your factions. So there's a chance that if we can get relations positive enough and Kislev's the Ice Court's situation gets bad enough, that we might be able to just get them to give us all of their stuff. Okay, dinosaurs run south right as we're about to start attacking them. That's pretty rad. So we got to keep an eye on this, and we got to try to foster relations probably relatively quickly. Negative 52. Rough. Well, the bigger and stronger we get, the more we can override their negative opinion of our reliability, so let's get some more territory and some more armies. Yeah, it is just like it is a Thunderdome over there. So this feels dangerous to me. The Empire is definitely extending a great deal. And I'm not saying Azhag is like the most terrifying enemy in the whole world. Well, certainly less so now. But I was saying I was worried. I guess we don't need to be worried. Okay, yeah, so we can see the Legion of the Gore Queen does have settlements up north. Even if they get eliminated over here, Avalorn will not be eliminating them from the map. I think Avalorn made a huge misplay by declaring war on the Exiles of Nahek. It was basically just like objectively wrong and mostly done as a way to hurt me, it seems like. All right, that army is small enough they have no chance of being a danger to the forest. If they ride over our territory at all, we will do terrible things to them. Okay, the lizards saw through my my attempt to be sneaky, and they still just ran away. So I guess they do not see coming the thing that's about to happen. If we could get rid of Carlos Fjordbreaker, we would get a brass cleaver, which is pretty all right. Plus 8 melee attack is that's a chunk of melee attack for an awful lot of units potentially, if you put that on the right kind of lord or hero. But we're very busy. We got places to be.
The Beowulfs take me.
All right, Natalia. Actually, you know what? Let me check Zoishenk.
Plots
There's a
required
lot of Skaven corruption here, and the number's going up.
behind
Yep.
every success.
All right.
A wise woman.
So we have found there is a pretty developed Skaven settlement here with a real garrison, and okay, that's worrying.
Would cackling
Don't really
please
know what to
you?
do about that. Probably improving the research rate gain of steel technology makes some sense.
Swine.
Because again, we do have a lot of very expensive technologies. Who are you at war with? Do you have any enemies that would make good friends for me? You have trade partnership with Etain. They probably won't care too much. Let's see about Bordelot. Hey, Bordelot. We've met you, right? I've been close enough to your shore that I'm sure I've met you. Yeah.
These lands are ours by the
What if I were
right
to
of the
join
Lady
your
of the
war
Lake.
against Hexawaddle? What would you give me? Honestly, they don't care that much. I'm gonna take the non-aggression pact and then just get paid out on the back end from there.
As you say.
Okay. No reason to go to war for free, right?
Gospodar by blood.
So what is going on here? Ah, the enemy has done a rite of attrition.
Yes.
They have made their lands even more hostile to us. I have some bad news for them. I super don't care. Just occupy it.
Taxpayers. Excellent.
All right, we've got our first red trinket, finally.
Roll out.
Roll our two armies forward together like. Let's get these spices going. You know what? I'm going to demolish this building and replace it with, I don't know, something else. All right, we shall see if that's enough to make Mazda Mundi turn around and come back home. Hopefully it isn't. All right, I think we're good on that stuff. So, yellow line. Let's work on your survivability here. Actually, can't take melee defense right away. Is there a melee defense in the... There is in the second group. I guess we'll start with Deadly Blade.
No other may wield it.
And you... Honestly, Assault of Stone has not turned out to be all that good. Let's maybe focus on meaningful magic instead. That stuff does matter. And we're holding out okay on control here. That's good news. Then over in the Doomglades, right next to a player who doesn't love us, but you'll notice that broken treaties with the Exiles of Nahek term there, it's already decreasing. Well, it's decreasing in magnitude. You know what I mean. So hopefully we'll be all right. Hopefully. What do I want to build here? I guess just a farmstead. And then, you know, keep making money. More money is more good. Did those Norskins cross over into the corner of my territory? No, they're very close. If they had, I would absolutely have Coven's Curse marked them. But I guess actually that probably isn't really prudent. We should be saving the Coven's Curse mark for this situation down here. Okay. And a little bit of this stuff. So...
A rarity indeed.
I think I do want to make a couple more of these.
Each step is lighter than the last.
And now that we have a horn...
In sight.
Oh, I don't have a well-gnawed bone. I don't have Ogre Kingdoms. Oh, man, that would be a good one. That would be a really nice buff to have. What else do we have? Fragmenti. A single drop of such a mixture induces weakness. So as long as the enemy is greater than 25% HP, they're just constantly taking damage. That's pretty fun. Speed down. Range down. What else? Spell resistance down. I mean, the Fragmenti is magical damage, probably. So magic spell resistance down might actually improve its effectiveness.
Our foes lost.
And then leadership down, or make them like make it more easy, make it more likely that they will break and flee from the extra damage, or reduce their combat effectiveness. Let's
Precious.
yeah.
Lost it is.
Let's reduce their combat effectiveness. That's an interesting one. So we have left is yellow, blue, purple, white. This would be okay. Plus ammunition. Plus weapon strength is a little weird. And then also flaming attacks and leadership is like fine. Bear's Bulwark. Mass and charge bonus up. Yeah, this is pretty weird. These tools don't really, these trinkets don't really go together very well. That's
I
fine.
am Kislev.
How much more? I should have checked before the end of the turn as to how much more spirit essence we have to spend before the next thing unlocks. It's all right. We'll have a look at it in a second. So the Ice Court's armies are, you know, they're repelling something. They're getting something accomplished despite being small and sickly. That sort of like green miasma rising off of them means that they have a plague, which, you know, you get into battle with chaos forces a lot, you're going to catch a plague here and there. There are a bunch of different ones, and I don't know what they all do. They all do damage, of course, but there are other things. Interesting. So it didn't zoom the camera over to Hexoatl at all. An army came out of muster mode, but as far as we know, that's all that happened. Because if an army had moved in the area, I think we would have been... It would have been brought to our attention. Okay, yeah. The Empire's armies are running all over around Lorelorn. I think Lorelorn's probably relatively safe for the moment. We can probably just ignore it, honestly. I think the area around it's too busy for anybody to really go after it. We'll build the garrison building up every time we have the opportunity, and we'll just hope that's good enough. Okay, Valkia herself has come down, and all of a sudden it does seem like Avalorn sort of lost the killer instinct. They're no longer actually taking anything from the exiles. I'm pretty sure that they did declare war on the exiles just to spite me rather than to gain anything for themselves.
I fail.
You know what? Sure. I don't want to have to deal with you right now. I'm about to have other stuff on my mind. Okay, Sergei has become great at helping in construction projects.
Second only to the throne.
We have enough movement to hit Hexawatl right now. And honestly, for as built up as it is, it does not have much of a garrison. I don't think it has a garrison structure. They were not expecting to get attacked.
The right to rule.
I mean, that's just wonderful news, right?
Beneath a Goya.
What do you mean beneath a fucking follow orders? I wasn't asking.
Face my ire.
All right, let us put some boots to these walls. We were going to be able to win a hard-fought battle over a properly defended settlement. With this thing having only half a garrison and this like little shard of an army, this is a trivial battle. And actually, they haven't really built their... I don't know what this force was going to be for, but it's not actually a very good force for defending a settlement because the Kroxigors can't participate in the battle for the walls. They're too big to get up on the walls. So we could like take the outer walls, get all of our ambushers up there, and then just fire down at them. Yeah, this would be...
Hearts of ice.
That's a nice, easy one. I was not expecting their capital to go so simply. We're doing just fine on Spirit Essence. I don't think we need to
Another province.
earn more. We need to spend more. Vasily figured out how to ride a horse. That's great news. I was expecting Mazdamundi to be, I don't know, closer.
Highborn son.
So we've taken Hexawatl at tier 3. It's got some recruitment structures that I don't particularly value. I think we can go ahead and pull these out. I'm going to blow everybody's mind here by building a roadhouse in the Falling Gates.
Lord of all. Never yield.
And my plan with this character is just that he is a lord that we will fire him when our ice witch is ready, and whenever we need to build a new army, we will start by grabbing him. So we'll start by grabbing him and having him do the hiring for the new army. So I'm trying to pick up like recruitment costs down, recruit rank up, that kind of stuff on him right now. 3 skill points for the witch means we get Penumbral Pendulum. Fantastic. I really like the hag witches as support casters.
Supremacy is assured.
It's nice that they can be in the army with a sort of a greater caster, and not feel like a total waste because they have other stuff they could be doing. Actually have another skill point for you. Yeah, you're picking up the enfeebling foe. What a good debuff, you know? All right, we can give Vasily a little bit more movement. I think he's
Boya's right.
less he has fewer buffs to his movement range, fewer followers and stuff. So they can be a little further forward than Sergei most of the time. Got ourselves another training dilemma. It is tradition when Manslib becomes ascendant, known as the Frost Moon, an Ice Witch shall bless a regiment on battle's eve. With the Frost Moon high, should it be fleet-hooved cavalry or steadfast infantry that receive this gift. So, bonus weapon strength for infantry units or bonus charge for cavalry units. Note that this does include things from the woods. Hold on. She's inheriting 4 units of things from the woods, 4 units of Ice Guard. Sort of a weird split, actually. This is just charge bonus. I'll take the weapon damage. That's fine.
Bow to me.
Yeah, and I think you're good. And there just aren't any lizard armies around. It's a little weird. It's a little suspicious. Okay, so I'm not actually at war with this faction right now. I suppose we could just go past them. We don't have to stop and fight. That said, they only have 2 settlements. We could wipe out the Sarls. What I'm thinking is, since we can't get to Erengrad this turn anyway, what we can do is go into normal movement mode, move past Norden, then declare war and destroy it from this side. So when we get forced backward after the raising, it will force us east.
Age does not slow me.
All right, so who's at war with Norden right now? Just the Legion of Chaos, actually. They're not going to buy us in. They're not going to do diplomacy with me.
Whichever woeful deity.
So I will just declare war here.
We'll spill your blood.
You know nothing.
The Ecstatic Legion refused to come to their aid. They're like, you know what? You guys are fucked.
Who calls?
Good luck to you, though.
Do not
Chomp.
disappoint us, Dunkia.
And burn it. Ooh, wow, she really cut south quite a lot there. Did you see she started to move directly away, and then she was like, nah, this could be a useful position. And so she turned dramatically southward. Okay.
Kislev's keeper.
So this one definitely is a Skaven settlement, but let's at least make it visible.
Rely on the hack.
So there is a magic forest. Yeah, here we go. I was gonna say there's one over here somewhere that we could maybe use to reinforce the north. Griffinwood's a little further south than I might like, but right now it was controlled by an enemy, so maybe this is a thing we need to be thinking about. All right, nobody is technically within the bounds of my forest over here. Nobody's inside of my territory over to the west. Yeah, this we're building an Orthodoxy shrine because it eventually adds to the garrison. Natalia continues to level. Slowly but surely. Let's get this thing to level 3 so we can maybe build a defensive structure. Might turn out to be worth it. Also, just like random stuff on Elf Island. Yeah, farm, I guess. We have so many places that we haven't, like, we haven't maxed the potential out on. But you know, there's only so much money to go around. So Deadeye Sting. Do we want to make some more Deadeye Stings? It is pretty good. With the range up and everything. It really is a bummer. And we're not going to find any Ogre Kingdoms anytime soon either. Well, you wouldn't be able to use a well-gnawed bone because there's a required white trinket. Yeah, okay. Let's do this again.
They will miss this.
That seems like a pretty annoying debuff.
Sweat and onion, kvass and loss.
And then, like, is there another one that I think is actually compelling? This is just an active ability. You fire whenever you want. It's like, it's not amazing. Bear's Bulwark is pretty not amazing. We used our red thing already. You would definitely want minus leadership with this. You want, basically what you want is for like the rampage to lock them into combat with something that's going to do a lot of damage to them, and then as soon as the rampage wears off, they just like panic and flee, right? And if you're doing that, it feels like physical resistance minus 15% is probably a pretty good play. And like blunt their weaponry a little bit.
Sympathy, my magic has.
And we already have weapon strength down. Yeah, honestly, that's a pretty good incantation. That particular whiff of madness. I wish you could like for each type of thing, there should be a button right here that's like set this as the default for this incantation, and then like every time you click on it from then on, it tries to put those 4 things in the slots if it can.
Ursun's wounded spirit
Until you know, press the button again with some other setup.
Here, taste his heart.
That would be a nice way for that to work. Okay, and I guess let's see what the lizards do about all this. I need to figure out exactly which settlements control which bits of that like narrow strip of land east of the mountains, because we want to get control of that so we can see the enemy armies coming and hit them with the curse mark. At this point, if I could put together a 4th army, if I could afford to put together a 4th army, what I would probably do with it is teleport it to that that magic forest near the vampires and have it take that over and then exert pressure alongside Ostankia. Oh, is it time for... It is time for war with Malekith. Do I care? Malekith is pretty far from my stuff. The question is, do we keep this box checked, right? Right now, he seems to be quite weak. Like, the bar is very green. He has a lot of territory, but he must not have much in the way of armies at the moment. I guess I'm going to call my allies to help. I don't expect anybody to bail on me over this. The Black Council have spoken, and if he tries to give us shit, we can teleport somebody to the Witchwood. Have we fought a proper Dark Elf force? Like, I know we fought a bunch of forces that... Oh, yeah, we were next to Dark Elves at the beginning of the game. What am I talking about? I just want trinkets, you know? It's the only thing that matters to me, is earning new kinds of trinkets. At some point, we'll have a battle where we might need them again. We are unfortunately facing a lot of, I say unfortunately, facing a situation where we are able to just sort of press our superior numbers on many of our opponents. At some point, we're going to run into somebody who is actually as tough as we are, or, you know, is marshaling their troops better. I'm still anticipating difficulty in this battle against Hexawaddle, but it is weird how much they just kind of like rolled away and let us take their capital. Because we know that the Masamundi's army was not very far away. He could have come back. I don't know. I guess he figured losing the capital was all part of the Great One's plan. You can basically get a lizard man to do anything if you just convince him it's part of the Great One's plan. Alright. Some minor factions are coming together. The Sarl were in fact destroyed. Great work for me. Oh, Ice Court training duration -2 turns. I wonder if that will affect the one that we're currently doing. Madame Valentina, a singularly fearsome witch, retired years ago. But she has spent the time since tutting at falling standards, at ice maidens who barely know Frostblade from Crystal Cloak, and she can stand no more. When she raps furiously upon the ice court's doors, none dare refuse her. Okay. Did that change? Was this 5 turns?
Kislev.
So like things that I'm not paying close enough attention to. Is this... We are not friends. Can we be friends?
Of the Empire. Now what brings you here with a sheathed blade?
You have no enemies. That's a little bit of a bummer. I was hoping to be able to move through friendly territory one more time. I guess what we'll do is we'll like half move into encampment mode, and then from there we should be able to execute the rest of the move next turn. Yeah, the fact that it ran us all the way down into the trees just out of pure spite again seems a little sketchy.
And a rich deer stew.
Okay, we can make it to there. Make it to there, go back to full, and then be a menace soon enough. Did any lizards show up? No. Okay, we can see Mazdamundi's in Swamp Town. So this is Port Reaver all the way down here. So if we take Port Reaver, we've got this great big bottleneck that we can curse mark in. So that's gotta be our first priority.
Power.
Fortunately, it is more or less undefended.
We are Kislev.
Yep, that is mine now. I guess there is some danger, because Swamp Town also has docks. There's some danger he comes after Port Reaver via the water. Should be not ideal.
This is my right.
Okay, you are going to go into encamp
Camp
mode
Once. I said march.
and travel to here while healing. The biggest value of encampment mode right now is not the
Class.
replenishment, although it is nice that we're getting some health back. But we're also voiding the enemy attrition effect, because part of the value of encampment is that it makes you immune to most kinds of attrition. It's a good way to move very slowly across extremely dangerous ground without getting torn apart.
Father Kislev.
All right, next
A
level,
symbol of
Sergei
my
Usenko will have done enough for the Empire to become immortal. Boy, that's a heck of a recruitment bonus, huh?
Guide me,
You
spirits.
put that in the ads, you'll get me wanting to know more. We definitely want to push the main settlement structure here. Well, hold on. Main settlement structure is important, but are there any important upgrades we can make? Yeah, this kind of stuff is more critical. That's another 200 gold per turn. Hell yeah. Do we want to... Yeah, I think I'm going to build an Earthen Hollow here, and we'll remove the one that's at Bleakhold, because this one can actually level up all the way. And then I don't think we need any other recruitment structures here, so we could put together something else. Nobody is in position to attack us, so I kind of just want to build a market square instead of, putting up any kind of defenses or anything. Perhaps that is foolishness of the highest order. I suppose it could be. Does seem feasible. Not speed.
This sparks
This part.
joy.
And one of these. And one of these.
A rarity indeed.
Oh no, wait, this is Whiff of Madness. So this has the blue thing built into it. Do we want it to be minus attack over the weapon strength? I don't know. I don't guess it matters hugely. Yeah. Here, actually, you know what? Let's put this together first. So here we were. We reduced speed. We wanted to reduce magic resist. And then yeah, just something that lowers your combat capability.
I could be icy.
Give you more time to slowly bleed magic.
miss this. Precious, this one. Lost it is.
Okay, what else do we want to put in here? So we have all that stuff. That's right, we wanted to blunt their weapons while they were in rampage mode. It's honestly a little hard to remember
For they have
from turn to turn which set of 4 debuffs I'm applying with each thing. Again, like a huge part of the benefit of that that ability to set default function for the things would just be so that I can remember what it is I'm supposed to be putting in from turn to turn, because my brain's got holes in it. In theory, it's not a big deal, but there are holes in it. It feels like there shouldn't be. The doctor was like, well, it's gotten you this far. And I think he meant that to be comforting, but, he probably didn't, consider it all the way.
keepers.
What's up? You want me to join your war against those northern factions? I do not want to do that. Notice our reliability is low instead of very low now. Opinion is recovering. Okay, she's starting to take stuff again. That's good. I need her to keep putting pressure on the exiles until their opinion of us has recovered some. Huh, and no camera zoom on Hexoatl. Interesting. So it looks like for the moment, Azhag is like completely unable to defend his land. I'm a little worried that if we were to teleport an army to the Griffinwood right now, whatever force he's building, southward to come up and play defense would run into us before any of his other enemies. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if the Empire armies were starting to push southeastern. Not that we have a spare army to worry about right now anyway. So the World Walkers are just like running around causing corruption, but they're not really they don't have any armies down there. They haven't recovered, it doesn't look like, based on the strength bar, from the absolute slaughtering that we gave them. Honestly, we don't know exactly what's going on up in the north. We can't see their settlements. It may be the case that as soon as they got weak, all of their neighbors pounced on them, because Norska is like that.
Kislev has invested.
It's not a great place. It's a real bummer up there. All right, Sergei, can you... Oh, interesting. Sergei can almost reach the Ziggurat of the Dawn. Cannot take it by himself.
Gospodar by
If I
blood.
put you into normal movement mode, you can. So do.
Face my ire.
This will give you a turn of friendly settlement replenishment on the back end.
Courage flows in
Make
our
things a little bit easier.
My lands expand further.
All right, found yourself some glittering scales. Congratulations.
The right to rule.
So, Draft Master, obviously.
No
Literally
other
what we
may
hired you for is to be a Draft Master. Your replacement is almost trained. The lessons of war are taught by the Ice Witches to the Ice Guard and the Druzhina who come seeking their wisdom. Which tenet of war would she recommend? The mobility of the Ungals or the steadfastness of the Gospodars? So upkeep down for your little Groms or for your war sleds. Well, her army only has one of those things. See, it takes quite a while to train up a new hero. You can't just, or a new lord. You can't just produce one. That is an interesting system. And then you're sort of like crafting them to your specifications. Okay. So I apologize. I'm gonna just like make you upset. They don't love it when you cross their territory.
My woods, the offspring.
Oh, I'm in encampment mode still. Okay, I can make it to Erengrad this turn.
His land.
So Erengrad's been hacked up pretty bad several turns in a row. So it doesn't really have much in the way of a garrison. That's, wow, what an interesting force that is. So it's like a half dozen units of just the worst troops you can imagine. Marauders, Skaven slaves. Look at that. 12 attack, 10 defense, 0 armor. And there's like some chaos warriors, but they're not a real threat.
I foresee.
And what do you have? You have a lot of chariots, which are not very good at helping to defend walls. Yeah, Mother Estankia is just gonna... Am I technically at war with this faction? I am not. Okay. Hey, Karl Franz. I mean, we're kind of pals already, right? What about the Bretonnians? Couronne's at war with them, and Couronne kind of likes me. They're getting to like me. What if I were to go to war with the Ecstatic Legions on your behalf, friend? That'll just barely buy me a non-aggression pact. Jeez. Well, I will also require 82 of your finest dollars. I thought for sure we were going to get a trade agreement out of that. All right, whatever. Every little bit matters.
They do not remember me at the ice court.
So this we can take trivially. They do have sorry, it's not the same faction, but the chaos factions in general do have armies nearby, so things could get ugly. We'll see how quickly they respond. Gustuva's egg. For 33 seconds, an allied unit becomes unbreakable, cannot move, and cannot die. So Erengrad is a province unto itself. We repair it, of course. It has lots of high-value buildings. Things like the Temple of Manan. Construction costs down for ports nationwide. It has a special port that at max level is generating trade goods at 50 growth and 800 income. So critically important that we get the growth running. Oh, right. We have Kislev buildings in Kislev proper. Well, that's 30%. That's 30 points of growth. That feels like it's got to be the right move. Wow, stalls are super good. Why does stalls generate so much money? What the hell? Everything's different over here. It's a it's a whole different place. All right, you have maxed out your ability to say sooth. You are just continuing to grab kind of whatever. You know what? Let's start picking up Mentor. Because we do have that other hag who is developing on the other side of the world who could use a little bit of an XP siphon, I think. So we can probably... Skeggy has proper walls, so they must have a garrison building. But I think Vasily's probably got it under control. I don't really want to move Sergei down there. So maybe what Sergei does is... Let me remove this building. Maybe we just go into ambush mode outside the settlement in the hopes of drawing them forward because they think the defenders have left. If we can find a spot, I'm just mousing over to look for places with higher ambush success chance where the trees are thick enough to actually affect that.
Seeking power.
All right, that'll work. That helps.
Speak to me.
Yeah, I guess just steal technology.
Knowledge taken for greater good.
Please improve my tech.
As expected.
Hey, here's a weird thing we could do. I can just teleport people to any... What if I teleported Mazda Mundi's army to like a really distant Yeah, maybe I'm thinking too small with the ridiculous abilities we have been granted here. Because, like, what if we just teleported Mazdamundi's army to the forest that's, like, down here? Let me, the jungles of Qian? Sure, that'd work. Plus, it keeps me spending, right?
Babes in the wood
I
without a sp-
I cannot believe they let me do stuff like that. All right, so change the plans. Sergey,
Kislev.
you are in fact on the march, my friend.
Pain is irrelevant.
Go forth and threaten Swamp Town. Just teleport an army of your choice to the other side of the world. That's very funny. Yeah, commandment. Lower campaign movement range for enemies that start within our sort of chunk of the world here. And then, yeah.
This sparks joy.
Wait, not leadership. What was it? What was I doing here? I was doing spell resistance down and, yeah, just make you bad at fighting. And then also this with the Urson Totem. I suppose the thing I could be doing is just putting the items in manually.
Star iron to hold it all.
Right, I don't need to click Whiff of Madness. I could click the 4 objects and put them in the spots.
Fools.
How we doing? 37 more Spirit Essence to unlock the next hex, and another 800 beyond that. And the next one is it's not super expensive, but it's a thing we'll be able to fire on cooldown without exception. Whereas some of these require the AI to play along a little bit and like actually step inside my territory. And our income is getting pretty solid again. Getting to the point where maybe we do want to start putting together that 4th army. And certainly with the with control of Erengrad, managing, assuming we manage to keep it, it could be very, very good for us. We haven't constructed the gold mine at Hexawatl yet either. There's a lot of bonus income in our future. No, don't just sack it and run away. Take it over. Curses. It's fine. I think if the exiles were going to attack us, they'd have done it by now. So we will see other full-size Lizardman armies. And to be clear, I'm not saying I think any of them are going to just be like total pushovers, but I was definitely more afraid of Mazdamundi than I'm going to be of any others.
Will not have
Tell me this is not a declaration of war. Okay, it is a. They're nuking our treaties to try to get that number lower. We could just give them a fat lot of gold. Try to blunt the damage that way. I wonder if the Dark Elves have declared war on them. Because I wasn't really expecting that Dark Elf army to run eastward like that. If we have a common enemy again, then, you know, we can start to make some progress on that front, potentially. Maybe we do start firing a 4th army, or start hiring a 4th army, and then we put it to use on. We teleport it to that southern forest, and we just knock the orcs out that way. Also, we still haven't been given our like apocalyptic event. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't actually know what the trigger for it is. But it makes me a little nervous that we are still so lacking in information. It might be a turn count thing. Like it usually happens. It happens before we get our campaign victory. Maybe it'll be when we land our 4th hex, which could be. Let's go ahead and spend some stuff right now, shall we? Okay, so Castle Alexandrinov is part of Zoishenk, Fort Ostrosk, and Fort Stragov. So this big stretched out thing all the way across the north is troll country. That's a little awkward. That's a challenge to deal with for sure. I am currently at war with the Skaven faction. I've been at war with them the whole time. So riding out to Zoishenk is maybe not a totally trivial solution to that problem. We have some slingers, which are kind of whatever. Poisoned wind globadiers, which are actually dangerous. Fair number of clan rats, which are not amazing units. Keep in mind, when you're looking at the stats of all the Skaven, you're like 23, 28. That's not even a good... That's like a very low tier fighter. Keep in mind that, generally speaking, their units have way more bodies than you would expect. There's like 120 clan rats in a clan rat unit. They have a unit of, well, what do you call it? Storm vermin, halberd storm vermin, which are certainly dangerous. It's not really, it's a lot of bodies, but it's not really all that scary.
I'm not fool.
Throughout the Unclean has some catapults, some hell pit abominations, which is as close as the Skaven are going to get to a dragon, a thing that is too horrible to die. They have some proper rattling gun units, which is it's exactly what it sounds like. This is a crew-operated machine gun. Obviously fairly dangerous. I don't know that I want to just ride right on them. How many settlements do you have? How big are you? Pretty big. They really don't want a military alliance with us. They so much don't want a military alliance with us. How many settlements do you hold in total? Only 6.
Still make
And with the bar being this red, I'm assuming they don't have very much at all in terms of army outside of this force. So we might be able to. They're currently recruiting a new stack over there. But we could probably do some serious lasting damage if we took Zoishenk from them. It's just a matter of whether Mother Astankia can take this number of enemy troops. I'm not convinced she can. I think that, as powerful as we are, I think this might be overdoing it. If it wasn't 38 enemy units, I don't know. You know what? We could just go ahead and leave it here. This could be a little bit of time to think about whether I want to do the really ambitious thing. The thing we have to remember with stuff like this is that it's not just about the fight with this army. Our army then has to be in a state afterward where we don't just get immediately consumed. And like if we barely drag ourselves through a fight throughout the Unclean, we take Zoishenk, and then we're sitting there at like 10%, the Chaos Demons nearby just declare war on us on their turn, and we lose everything, right? We lose Mother Astankia, we lose Erengrad. So, I don't know. I'll think about it. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, tomorrow, we have a lot to do to secure Erengrad and start expanding into the surrounding areas. We still have an awful lot of lizard men to fight, and we are riding right up on that bewitching lure. Things are going suspiciously well. Be ready for the turnaround, and we'll see you then.